near the top of the league in pretty much every category across the board. The defense, on the other hand, near the bottom in pretty much every category. So, can Dallas's back together offense carry the Cowboys in 2021?
Definitely. Yes, they can. Listen, they are stacked, but this team isn't about the complementary players. This team is about Dak Prescott. And if you've been paying attention to him, if you look at the clips, he's moving them around well. He's throwing the ball well, but more importantly, that ankle, that leg, he looks strong once again. And I feel like the wide receivers are going to do their thing. Ezekiel Elliott looks like he's ready to prove everybody they're still one of the best running backs in the business. But Dak Prescott is going to have to do what we've seen him do for so long, and that is use his legs. He could roll out of bed and throw for 4,500, 5,000 yards, but it's when he uses his legs, leaves the pocket, throws on the run, that's what makes this offense special. And I'm not sure he's going to be the same guy. After injuries, guys adjust their game. Now, I'm not saying that Dak Prescott isn't going to be a beast like he used to. I'm just not sure he's going to be willing to leave the pocket and be as dominant as he once was, like we're watching right now. Since he came in the league, 24 touchdowns rushing. 24. Now, granted, a lot of those might be, goal line, close touchdowns, 2 to 3 yards. But if they want to be special, Dak Prescott's not only going to have to deliver the ball downfield, but he's going to have to use his legs, leave the pocket, and show that athleticism, because that's when you get the big-time plays in that offense.
Nate, we've talked so much about Dak Prescott, and rightly so, through the course of this offseason, really since he hurt his leg. But don't forget, you had no Tyron Smith for all but 2 games last season. La'el Collins, your right tackle, didn't play at all last season. You had Brandon Knight and Terrence Steele, and they were still putting up massive 30-plus points per game. To have both those guys back, and I'm told both have looked outstanding in this offseason. That is a huge boost just to solidify that and maybe make Dak a little bit more comfortable where he knows I don't have to release the ball in a second and a half.
I hope so, man. I love seeing these highlights. I love talking Cowboys. We also like talking nostalgically about the past here, now that we're back together. Tom, you're a guest here this week. What were you doing in 2016? What jumps out? What were you doing? What were you up to?
Waiting for my second child to arrive.
Oh,
the final moments of, one child at a time.
It's poetically said. We are also waiting for something to arrive for the Dallas Cowboys that hasn't arrived since 2016.
What?
And it's superstar Ezekiel Elliott. Guys, it's been a while.
He went to Cabo.
He did. But, Kay, that was like 2018, 2019.
True.
We could take that. 2016, guys. Damn Daniel, Mannequin Challenge, Chewbacca Mom, and Ezekiel Elliott being the coolest running back in the world. I think that Dak can carry him up and down the field. Sure, they have so much firepower. I think they can win the East with just Dak going ballistic. This dude is how they win playoff games. I really think that they're still built this way, both in their front office and their attack. And listen, this is not just me editorializing. This is objective. Bring it up. 20-plus yard runs. Look at 2016. He had 14. He led the NFL. 2020, look at the bottom. Tied for 32nd. There's 32 teams in the league. He was last.
Yikes.
Last. That's not a playoff winning team. I don't care if Dak throws for 8,000 yards. I don't care if they have the best lineman in the world or their defense is surging better. 21, went to Cabo. He also went away. I need him to come back to the stratosphere. I need a great Ezekiel, explosive. This thing, it got old. It wasn't that fun anymore. But when he's doing that, they're winning. That's what I need, Kat.
I want to know how good you think the defense needs to be. You saw the ranks offensively. They were good before some of those injuries, before some of that stuff was going on. You can't just rely on an offense. They were the 28th defense last year. Not good enough. And where are some of these stars? We're looking at star power. DeMarcus Lawrence, he came into this very studio one day wearing that Snickers chain. We were all so impressed.
Yeah.
He got paid, and since then it was 5 sacks, and then last year it was 6.5 sacks. It's been since that year before he got paid when he had double-digit sacks. I want to see him get back to that. Leighton Vander Esch, this is all these guys were known as just to be incredible players before some of them got paid. I'm not saying that has anything to do with it, but this defense needs to be, I would say, Kyle, not one of the top 10, but middle of the pack in order to make waves in this division. But they have to get there. They cannot be 28th again or 20th even.
DeMarcus Lawrence is now saying, not going anywhere for a while because he's been waiting. I think this is, no one would ever put this on a motivational phrase, or they would never use this as a speech, but they just have to be decent. Just decent. Yeah. That's the big D. Yeah. Give me 17th in the league, and I think we can win the East, because it's not only their offense is that good. it's Daniel Jones and it's Jalen Hurts and it's like this is not a murderer's row of quarterbacks right here. Like I think if they're decent, and I know that Mike McCarthy would never say that, neither would Dan Quinn, but I'm saying it. Have a decent defense and you'll be in the playoffs.
What makes this team so unique is that we haven't seen this very talented roster do anything collectively yet. You know, Dak Prescott going down, the additions that they had, some of these new pieces we want to see on the field.
Put it together.
Yeah, like we look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We know how talented the roster is, but we also seen them play well. So when we're looking at Tampa Bay, or maybe a team like Russell Wilson Seahawks or Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers, just do what you've done before. That's going to be enough to get you to the playoffs. We can't say that about this squad. They're literally doing something they haven't done before. So as much as we want to praise these guys and say they're great on offense, Dak Prescott is back, the defense has talent, the coaching staff is really going to prove themselves, but we haven't seen them do it. So this could be a great season for the Cowboys, but once again, if they do not fulfill expectations, I think this is the biggest failure in all of football because of how good the roster is. Not because they're the Cowboys, because they are loaded top to bottom.
They had a lot of challenges last year trying to implement a complicated defensive scheme. They didn't have an offseason to do it. Mike McCarthy has admitted that was a mistake, but they do have that talent. We've seen them produce on offense. Something went haywire, too, with Zeke Elliott, to your point last year, where the fumble problem started to kick in.
his head.
It seemed like something got to him. The coaching staff loves Ezekiel Elliott. Comes to work every day. He's always dialed in, but it got away from him. And all those quarterback changes, all the offensive line changes, the defense is playing terribly, has to have a trickle-down effect on everything else you're doing.
I don't feel like we're being negative, just to point out, because we have lots of Cowboys fans watching our show. It's because we know, to your point, that they can do it separately, right? We can criticize, or we know how good Zeke is, what his potential is.
Yeah.
When I look at Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, like, we called you one of the best linebacking duos in the game just a couple of years ago. DeMarcus Lawrence, we know you can be that dude. So be those, like, that's why it's easy, I think, where it's okay to sort of expect more from
High
them.
expectations. We root for this team a lot, but I'll finish personally with this. It's going to be really interesting a few weeks from now. When this whole league and this whole industry does division predictions, and we'll say who's going to win the East. There's a lot of heat on Washington, like a lot. And if you're telling me that, Nate, you're saying there's a great collection of talents and this superstar quarterback, are people still going to say, nah, I'm going to take Ryan Fitzpatrick in that defense? We'll see if people put their money where their mouth is. Because we like the Cowboys, those predictions are going to be interesting.
What?
You know what I thought you were going to say?
No. I disappointed you.
I thought you were going to say it's going to be interesting a couple of weeks from now when we get Hard Knocks.
Ooh.
Oh, so true. I didn't even think of that.
Inside look at what's going on. Is this going to be the Dallas Cowboys who are very cinematic and dramatic? Or is it going to be hard hat, old school, blue collar football? Because I remember the last time we saw Hard Knocks, it was the cupcake.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that. They need to go out there and play some old school football.
Give me a little.
The slow motion sprinkler head.